Have you ever wondered where the Garden of Eden, that paradise on earth described in ancient texts, was actually located? For centuries, theologians, explorers, and historians have been captivated by this mystery. Is it a real place we could find on a map, or is it purely symbolic? Today, we're diving deep into one of history's greatest geographical puzzles. Let's explore the clues, the theories, and the search for the Garden of Eden. The most detailed description we have comes from the book of Genesis. It tells us that a river flowed out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divided and became four rivers: the Pishon, the Gihon, the Tigris, and the Euphrates. Now, the Tigris and Euphrates are names we recognize immediately. These two mighty rivers flow through modern-day Iraq, Turkey, and Syria, forming a region often called the cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia. This has led many to believe that the Garden of Eden must have been located somewhere in this area. It seems like a straightforward clue, right? Well, it gets a lot more complicated. The problem is, the other two rivers, the Pishon and the Gihon, are a total mystery. Genesis gives us some hints. It says the Pishon flows around the entire land of Havilah, a place rich in gold, aromatic resin, and onyx. The Gihon is said to flow around the land of Cush. For centuries, scholars have tried to identify these rivers and lands. Some have associated Havilah with parts of the Arabian Peninsula, known for its ancient gold mines. Others have linked the Gihon to the land of Cush, which is often associated with ancient Ethiopia or Nubia, in northeastern Africa. This is where the geography gets tricky. If the Tigris and Euphrates are in Mesopotamia, and the Gihon is in Africa, how could they all originate from the same source in Eden? This geographical impossibility has led to a wide range of fascinating theories. One popular idea is that the world's geography was drastically different before the Great Flood. Another major event described in Genesis, proponents of this theory suggest that a global cataclysm could have completely reshaped the Earth's surface, burying the original Garden of Eden and altering the courses of its rivers. In this view, the Tigris and Euphrates we know today might simply be named after the original, pre-flood rivers, but they aren't the exact same ones. The original Eden could be buried miles beneath the earth, or even under the ocean. Lost to time, this brings us to another intriguing theory that places the Garden of Eden under the Persian Gulf. Some geologists and archaeologists propose that around 8,000 years ago, the area that is now the Persian Gulf was actually a fertile river valley, an oasis in the middle of a much drier region. Sea levels were significantly lower back then. This ancient valley was fed by four rivers: the Tigris, the Euphrates, and two others that now flow underground or have since dried up. As the last ice age ended and the ice caps melted, the sea level rose, flooding this valley and creating the Persian Gulf we see today. Could this submerged paradise be the real Eden? It has a compelling idea that aligns with geological history and the memory of a great flood found in many ancient cultures. But the search doesn't stop in the Middle East. Let's look at some other proposed locations. One surprising candidate is in Armenia. The Armenian highlands are the source of several major rivers, including the Araks, which some have tried to identify as one of the lost rivers. The region is mountainous and historically fertile, leading some to propose it as the high-altitude source from which the four rivers flowed down into the plains. Another theory points to Africa. As we mentioned, the land of Cush is often identified with Ethiopia. Some scholars have suggested that the Gihon could be the Blue Nile or another major African river. This theory often tries to reinterpret the locations of the other rivers to fit an African context, suggesting that the names we associate with Mesopotamia might have been used for different rivers in ancient times. This view sees Eden as the birthplace of humanity, linking it to the Great Rift Valley, where the earliest human fossils have been discovered. And then there are more symbolic interpretations. Many theologians and scholars believe that the Garden of Eden was never meant to be a physical place on a map. Instead, they see it as a spiritual state, a metaphor for humanity's original relationship with the divine state of innocence, harmony, and perfection. In this view, the story of Eden isn't about geography, it's about theology and the human condition. The location of Eden isn't on earth, but in a higher, spiritual realm. The four rivers could symbolize the four corners of the earth or divine virtues flowing out into the world. So, the quest isn't to find a pin on a map, but to spiritually return to that state of harmony. Let's not forget the American continent. In the 19th century, some members of the Latter-day Saint movement identified a location in Jackson County, Missouri, as the original site of the Garden of Eden. This belief is specific to their theology and holds that this is where Adam and Eve lived and where a great city will be built in the future. It is a fascinating example of how the story of Eden has been integrated into different belief systems around the world, each pointing to a location with its own unique significance. So, where does that leave us? We have theories placing Eden in Iraq, under the Persian Gulf, in Armenia, in Africa, and even in America. And we have the powerful idea that Eden isn't a place at all, but a state of being. The enduring mystery of Eden is perhaps what makes it so powerful. The clues in the ancient texts are just specific enough to inspire a search, but just vague enough to prevent a definitive answer. What's really incredible is how this single story has fueled so much exploration, scientific inquiry, and philosophical debate for thousands of years. It speaks to a deep human longing for paradise, for a perfect world we feel we've lost. Whether Eden was a real garden of lush fruit trees and gentle rivers, or a powerful symbol of a lost golden age, its story continues to captivate our imagination. The search for Eden is, in many ways, a search for our own origins and our place in the universe. It's a puzzle that connects geography, history, science, and faith. So, what do you think? Was the Garden of Eden a real, physical place that's now lost to time? Or is it a powerful metaphor for a state of spiritual perfection? Maybe the truth is a combination of both. Perhaps there was a real place, a fertile oasis that gave rise to the story, which then evolved into a profound symbol. The debate is far from over, and no archaeological finds or geological discoveries could one day add another twist to this ancient quest. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into one of history's greatest mysteries. If you enjoyed this exploration, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the past. I'd love to hear your theories in the comments below. Where do you think the Garden of Eden is? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.